Greetings, everyone. Welcome to this Thursday, or might not be quite Thursday for you, depending where you are in the world. So, welcome to this moment, and welcome to this gathering of community of Sangha with their Sangha Live daily meditations together. It's always very heartwarming and inspiring to see the chat kind of flickering and twittering with greetings and warmth and friendship. And for those who might not know me, my name is Zohar. I'm leading the daily meditation sessions this week. It's a great privilege and joy to be doing these fairly regularly. And the session today will follow our rhythm of a reflection on the theme of this week and then a guided practice. And then time for questions and reflections together to close. Thanks, Heidi. Not sure what my cold is doing this morning. Let's see what the day brings. Yeah. Yes. It's an interesting thing how strong the presence is. I have to say, it's the only person that's visible on the screen and whose voice can be heard. How strong the presence is of everyone here. It's quite wondrous how it seems to come through at a different frequency than our kind of more gross sense doors of the sight and the hearing, but there's a real sense of this community coming together and also of the individuals in it, the particularities. So we've been exploring these themes over the days. We've been exploring bringing an attitude to kindness and care to our experience, and kind of nourishing well-being as we do that, both present well-being and future well-being. And we've also explored a couple of days ago the possibility to relax contraction as a way of releasing ill-being, dukkha as it's called in Pali. And again, both the dukkha that's present, the ill-being that's present in the moment of experience, but also as we relax contraction, invited to relax as we open the space of awareness, we're actually giving the seeds of ill-being less ground to take hold in, creating conditions that are less conducive for ill-being to take hold and are more conducive for well-being, which is I think a really helpful image, and also pretty precise of part of what we're doing with our practice and our path. Keep kind of tilling the soil of our heart, body, and mind so that we create the conditions for well-being, and we create conditions that are less conducive, less supportive of ill-being. And so today we're going to kind of incline more fully, more deeply into the compassion lens. So we're going to see how we can lessen, dukkha, ill-being, and promote increase well-being even more through this attitude of compassion, which I think I touched on it yesterday. It's like a tender holding of experience in attention. It's a tender holding. And sometimes we use this image of, whatever the experience is, whether it's beautiful, or we might find it challenging. We might have the sense of it's barely here at all, you know. It's arising, it's here in this moment, but actually, like everything else, it's conditioned and it's coming into being and kind of starting to dissolve even before our senses pick up on it. Yeah, so again, this gross and subtle level of what is actually happening in experience, just like my sense of you here, even though I can't see or hear you. But still that sense of everyone that's here. So in the same way, we can say that sense of, experience is arising, and whether I find it beautiful, joyful, wonderful, or I find it challenging, difficult, just tuning in to that way of seeing it as, it's barely here at all. Yeah. It's arising, but already in its arising is its change and potential eventual dissolution. And that, if you like that kind of attitude, that can really enhance the sense of tenderness. Otherwise, sometimes it can feel like compassion to what's going well. That might sound a little bit weird, but we just want to kind of bring in the sense of the compassionate tenderness that's holding our experience or meeting our experience with care. And so as we tenderly hold experience in this way, we perhaps can already get a sense that we're not rejecting, and we're not holding on. So it's a non-rejection, but it's got a warmth to it. Yeah? And it's a not holding on, but it's got a warmth to it. This is kind of the flavors that compassion and metta exist to bring, the warmth in the tenderness. It's not rejecting, it's not demanding of things to go or to stay according to a particular time frame. It can be interesting to see what happens when we relate in this way. And we know this again by how we feel when we are related to in this way, when others relate to us in this way, tend to us in this way. We might have a sense of the safety that it brings, the ease, the well-being, and the peacefulness. So it's kind of this practice is, I want to say, in a way, it's doing a lot less than we usually do, because with our experience, we're usually really trying to organize and fix and get it perfect, and that's like a lot of doing involved there. And here, it's a lot less doing in this receiving with tenderness, but because it's not the habit, it can feel like it takes quite some intention and attention and kind of a dedication, just going back to that. Just going back to that again and again. No, I don't need to reject. I don't need to hold on. I can just hold in tenderness, bathe in tenderness. I like that phrase. You may have noticed that. Bathe in tenderness, bathe in compassion, whatever is arising in the experience, and see how that impacts. And so in the background, we have our insights from the week that everything is conditioned, that whatever arises is conditioned. And therefore, and what is it conditioned by? The object and attention and the way of relating. And so when we play with the way of relating, we're changing the experience, changing the conditions. Therefore, that allows the experience to change. And that opens up possibilities. Let's practice. Let's practice together. This wonderful day, this wonderful space of community. Let's see what happens as we practice, and as always, beginning with attending to the body, attending to the posture, checking what's the appropriate posture for you, either fine-tuning the posture if you're already in it, or adopting it if you're changing it. The real sense of, the appropriate supportive posture for this body, heart, and mind as they are in this moment, for this period of time. So attending, attuning to the posture, making any adjustments that are needed, so the body's as comfortable, as upright, as aligned, and supported as possible. Gently exploring for ourselves the balance of uprightness, alignment, lengthening of the body, with a sense of ease and relaxation in the body. The awareness coming more fully and deeply into the body as we do this. Inviting ourselves to ground and settle the awareness in the body as much as possible. Using the contact sensations if that's helpful for you. Sensations of contact between the body and that which supports the body. When you're ready, inviting the awareness to soften and open through the body. So we're letting the awareness expand and fill the body. We're doing that with a kind of softening of the space of the body. And gently opening the space of the body. And the awareness filling up that space, softening. You might be feeling the soft strength of the awareness as it flows through the space of the body, fills up the whole body. Feeling the whole body sitting here. And awareness, soft, open, keeps flowing, expanding, filling the space of the body. Tuning into the softening and the tenderness in awareness, just tuning into that particular frequency of tenderness and softening. In awareness, and letting that become the primary, the dominant frequency in the heart and mind. We might keep having a sense of softening through the body, and awareness bathing the whole body in tenderness, perhaps even surrounding, holding the body in tenderness. Permeating, filling the body with tenderness. Take a few minutes to explore this silently, just having a sense of the awareness and playing with it in your own way, opening out through the body or flowing down the body or up the body. See what works for you. Maybe a more detailed scan of going through particular body parts. Might be just a sense of the overall sense of the body being filled and bathed, permeated, with tender, caring, compassionate awareness. Let's take a few minutes to explore this silently, each in our own way. Keep bathing, filling the whole space of the body with tenderness. All the body, whole body held in tenderness. I'm going to play with this a little bit. Bring our attention to somewhere in the body that feels relatively pleasant. Maybe a part of the body or a sensation in the body, like the softness of an out breath, or sensations in the hands or somewhere in the face. Bringing awareness, attention to somewhere that feels pleasant, and then seeing what happens if we hold that sensation, that area of the body. Hold it, receive it, bathe it in tenderness. Whatever way unfolds for you. You might use the breathing. It's not necessarily necessary at all. You might use just the image of something being bathed or soft rain of tenderness, just a felt sense. Hands, if they feel somewhat pleasant, held in tenderness and bathed in tenderness. Let's explore this for a while. If a particular pleasant sensation disappears, then open the awareness to somewhere else that feels somewhat pleasant and bring the attention there. We're staying with the pleasant and we're bathing it, holding it, receiving it in tenderness. over and over, bathing in tenderness. Holding in tenderness. Receiving sensations in tenderness. Letting go of this particular area or sensation. Kind of open to somewhere in the body sensations that feels neither particularly pleasant or particularly unpleasant, which we might call the uneventful. Doesn't have enough pleasantness or unpleasantness to it to be defined as one or the other. There's lots of areas and sensations in the body that are like that. Inside of the elbows, the earlobes, or perhaps the forehead or the bridge of the nose. Maybe the buttocks. Just noticing and flowing through the body, different sensations. So with that tenderness and the interest, the curiosity, you find somewhere that feels neither pleasant or unpleasant, somewhere in between, somewhere not quite one or the other. Letting the attention rest with that, bringing that tenderness, that compassionate, caring energy, way of relating to that sensation or area of the body. Taking time to bathe that with tenderness and hold it in tenderness. Let it be surrounded and filled with tenderness. Letting go of the sensation also, this area and attention. Tuning in more fully and deeply to this attitude of tenderness, compassion, of care. This time, seeing if there's anywhere in the body that feels to some degree unpleasant. Perhaps not the most painful place. See what you find. Somewhere that feels to some degree unpleasant, uncomfortable. Being the awareness soft and wide through the whole body. Holding this particular area. Sensation in awareness. And bringing forth that tenderness. Bathing that area in tenderness. Softening around it with tenderness. Receiving it. And holding it in tenderness. Gently keep softening and bringing that tender, compassionate holding and attitude. Bathing and soothing. Noticing any impact on experience as you do this. As you do this, you might notice the momentum habit to disengage from the painful, to push it away, gently staying steady and present, bathing, attending in tenderness, and also interested to see what the impact is as we relate in this way. And then coming back to the whole body for the last minute or so. Once more, bathing the whole body in tenderness, softening, opening through the whole body. Letting it all be bathed in tenderness. And bringing forth the wish for all beings to be held in tenderness and bathed in tenderness. To be held in compassion and kindness. When the bell rings, no rush. No rush to change the posture, to open the eyes, taking your time, staying in tune with that tenderness. So taking your time, see if we can keep that attitude of tenderness, of compassion, of care. We can keep it going as we, in our own time, and if we wish, change posture or open the eyes. So before I give some time for questions or reflections about the practice, just a reminder of Dharma practice. And as we all know, most of us at least, these sessions are offered in the spirit of dana, spirit of participation and mutual care. And there's many expenses that go into running this platform, making these sessions available. So there's the opportunity for us to support it freely from our own sense of care for ourselves and for others and for the Dharma. So whatever is offered this week is divided between Sangha Live for the costs of the platform, many costs that are involved, and myself for the teachings. And I'm gonna just put the link to the Dana page on the Sangha Live platform so that you can make use of it in any way that you wish. Okay, so let's see if there's any questions. The best way to ask a question is to put it into the chat. If you can do that, if you can put question in capital letters at the beginning, that helps me identify that that's what it is. And also welcome to share any reflections that you may have around the practice today, or anything that I've said this week, or generally about practice. You're welcome. So let's pause a minute and see if any questions come. See someone's raising their hand. Don't know if that means that you wish to come on screen. Just see if I can do that. Hmm. No, don't see you there. Okay, yeah, it is easier for me if we just have the questions in the chat, if possible. And yeah, I can say in the meantime, perhaps people are thinking of questions, that this is one of my favorite practices. So you may be aware of that. And just that capacity to bring attention in this way to different aspects of our experience, including where we think it wouldn't normally go, to the neutral, what we call the neutral, the not particularly pleasant or unpleasant, or to the unpleasant. And it, as I said earlier, it really goes against our habit of how we attend to things. So it's quite something to um, to do. And hopefully some of you notice the impact of it. And definitely with time, we can really develop this skill to meet different aspects of our experience with a sense of tenderness. And it really shifts something. And it can also just really shift the sensitivity and care internally. Thanks, Clive. Really enjoying your teachings this week. I have a sense of a door opening a little into understanding this conditioned arising thing. I don't know if the thing is everything or you're talking about yourself in particular. Sorry, it's just my mind. Can you say more about this, perhaps to edge the door open a little more? I'll try. It's a wonderful question. It's a little bit general. Might be my coldy head. So Clive, if I don't hit the nail on the head in response, then please feel free to point me in the right direction. Yeah, so this understanding that our experience is conditioned, or in a commonly the phrase that's commonly used, dependently arising. Our experience of dependently arising is really the key in the Buddha's teachings. It's the key insight to see this. Things are conditioned. They arise dependent on other things. Anything is arising. Yeah, any aspect of experience arises dependent on other conditions, on other things. And what is particularly interesting for us as meditators is, yeah, we can see that. We can see that the weather arises dependent on huge weather patterns and the planet and human actions, whatever it is. So we can see it that way, but we can also see that our perception of the weather also arises dependent on the mind. So on the way of relating. And similarly, any aspect of experience. And so, when we start bringing, say, a tenderness to something, that a body sensation that feels unpleasant, we might have been able to see the habit, the habit of response, which is to push it away or to go somewhere else with the mind, not to be present with it. But we're staying present, we're bringing tenderness, and often that shifts. You might remember that I think 2 days ago someone was saying the headache disappeared when we were doing the relaxing the contraction practice. So we can start to see, this is dependently arising. Now, sometimes dependently arising or conditioned is enough of an insight to just bring. Yeah, we can just, we get into a tiz about something. And we just remember, this is dependently arising. Takes out so much of the tension from the experience. And so in practice, we're doing a few things. One is we're cultivating this insight to see it more, to remember it more, to be more sensitive to its presence. We're cultivating ways of relating that are that kind of reduce dukkha, yeah, and we kind of stop feeding the ways of relating that condition more dukkha. So we're doing all of those, and we can intentionally tune into one more than the other, or we're actually doing all of them at the same time. So in the practice today, we're cultivating this kind of meeting something without the habit, and we, as we're doing that, we are weakening the habits of resisting it or distracting from it. So hopefully, Clive, that responds to you. Do let me know if I didn't understand the question well enough. As I said, a bit of a foggy mind today. I see there's a couple more questions that I'll try and respond to, or comments. I found it surprising how hard it was to find a neutral part of the body. Yes, because our habit with the neutral is not to notice it. It's not enough there to draw our attention. It helped me connect more fully with the hardships my body has faced and how much care it needs right now. Yes, so definitely connecting to that sense of care, where we might only be feeling the kind of parts that are suffering in the body, and then we connect to more compassion, which can be really, really helpful. But again, with sensitivity and time, we also can develop the capacity to find neutral places, even when there might be a lot of distress or pain. But it's also a matter of skillful means, what we're doing and what's helpful. Yeah, so we don't always need to go there. It can be helpful to really, as you were doing, attend to the sense of the hardship the body's been going through. Thanks, Elaine. Over the past several months, I find that I frequently land in an image of a particular place I used to travel through regularly. It's so frequent, I wonder about whether there's something to explore. It was a challenging time, but there's no associated thoughts or feelings currently. Can I ask you if you leave it or further practice maybe? I would leave it, Elaine, because it feels sometimes things just come up. And so when it arises, just let it arise. Yeah. Don't fight it, but just bring your attention to what you're doing in your practice. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't try and kind of borrow in and figure out what's going on, because all kinds of things can arise. Sometimes we have images of places we've never been. Yeah, but maybe with this kind of sense of tenderness that can be a really helpful thing to do, is just to say, tenderness and moving on. Tenderness, we can do this with distractions. Not saying that this is a distraction, but we can do this with distraction in the practice. The mind's wandering somewhere, it's like, tender holding and coming back to the object. And one last comment from Catherine. The use of the word tenderness has been really helpful for me, as it allows me to come closer to the unpleasantness, tender to touch areas of my experience. Yeah, it resonates with the image of a mother holding a child. Absolutely. Thanks for that, Catherine. Yeah, it's a wonderful word. And it's a wonderful kind of, for some of us, again, different words touch us differently, but it's a wonderful attitude. And I was using it today because I wanted to also kind of bring in how much we can bring it also to the pleasant. It makes more sense to us than the compassion in that sense, but also with the unpleasant or the difficult, sometimes the holding and tenderness, just like you were saying, just a mother holding her child, just makes it more simple. It kind of removes some of the pressure off. I need to be compassionate towards this. For some of us, might feel like more of an ask. So the tenderness is just, for me also, and then the sense of being able to just bathe or hold or receive with that beautiful, beautiful quality of the human heart and mind. So, yes, thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the wonderful comments and questions and reflections. And at the end here of the session, thank you for your listening and for your practice. And I will be here tomorrow for the last session of the week. It's gone by really quickly. And I look forward to seeing you then. Go well, everyone.